Go.
So for the past several hundred years, despite what many of you may think or believe, animation has played a very large part in both yours and my lives. From your childhood, from people like Bambi, Pocahontas, and all your Disney movies, to people now like the Hulk and many superheroes. All of it is part of animation, and it plays a very big part in my career as an animator. So despite what many of you may think, my job does not involve swallowing swords or shoving rail spikes up my nose. Sorry for any disappointment. But animation as a whole, animation is the management and creation of digital objects in a 3D world and the weighting and timing of these objects. An animator is a person who creates these objects and makes them come alive. An animator specializes in managing these objects, digitalizing them, creating a 2D image of it, and then making them come to life. An animator is much different from any normal graphic design artist or just someone who messes around on a computer because they focus on a 2D flat surface and editing something that was already made or creating something brand new. While that is similar, an animator focuses more on creating a world itself and creating a 3D image and making it come to life instead of just being something stationary. For my career choices, I chose to be an animator. My first choice was, as I picked, an animator. My second choice was a magician. And my third choice was to be a cybersecurity agent. My opportunity cost as a magician, the only reason I didn't choose it as my career is for the sake of my presentation. A magician has always been my lifelong dream to be, and I hope to pursue it in my future. But for the sake of the presentation, I chose to be an animator. Some incentives of my job. Some positive incentives are I get to travel overseas to my dream job in Sweden to work for a company called EA Dice. It's always been a personal dream of mine to travel overseas, and this will give me a very large opportunity to do that and also live there and make a living. The second incentive was I get to work with computers. Computers have always been something I had a knack for, something I've been interested in and spend a lot of time with. This job will allow me to work with computers and just spend all my time either on the go or at an office. This allows a lot of flexibility, and it allows me to get my job done wherever I need to. My final incentive was I'll be able to create art and design on a computer. I've always been fascinated by art, and I've always loved watching something as it progresses into its final product. This will allow me to be part of much larger institutions and their giant moving forward projects and how they advance, and it allows me to be a part of those. But some negative incentives in my job is the pay. It's not as amazing as some other jobs. I could have gotten a job that was very, very high and that pays me hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I chose this job because I knew I would enjoy it and I could still live off of it. The job would take me away from my family, which is it's a win-win with moving overseas. I would get very, very far away from family and I get to go to a different country, which are two new experiences which I bet I will enjoy. My third negative incentive is it would be very time-consuming. I would work from sunrise to sunset every day, working very hard to meet release dates and deadlines set by my company and my employer. As an animator, I get paid $59,000 a year, which rounds up to about $4,960.70 a month. For my budget, I share an apartment with 2 roommates in Los Angeles, and we spend about $570 on our apartment. I also have a $13,000 car, which I pay off in about 6 years. In my budget, the majority of all my pay goes towards my discretionary and my personal items, such as clothing, charity, and my savings account, with 28%. The second largest amount is taxes, which take up another 27% for me to pay my state and country. I only spend about 15% on my school loans and less than 0.1% on toiletries. I spend 6% on food. I only eat 2 meals a day, and I spend $5 a meal. My housing is 12% as I share with 2 roommates, and my transportation is 10% as I pay off my car and I pay for gas. My utilities are 2% as most of my utilities are paid for by my apartment and my roommates. Some trade-offs I made is I traded off having my own apartment and just all to myself for having a slightly better car than what I was going to get originally. I traded off being close to my family to pursue my dream of being an animator and moving overseas. And then finally, I traded off having a really high-paying job for a job I'll enjoy doing and that will be something I love to do and I'll keep going after. For college, I went to the California Institute of the Arts, where I got my bachelor's in character animation and character design. This will allow me to get much higher pay in my jobs and allow me to get more advanced jobs than what a normal schooling could get me at a different college or university. For my letter of application, I made it out to Mr. Elias Erickson. He is the head of hiring at EA Dice, the company I wish to work for. I told him about my past experiences at other companies and my qualifications for this job. Some of the articles and websites I used were, I went to the DICE website themselves, where they told me about the requirements they have and what they look for in an animator and what they would be in charge of doing at their company. Another article I read was at study.com. It talked about what it takes to be an animator and how you have to become one and what process that is. Other websites I visited was glassdoor.com, rasmussen.edu, and mymajors.com, which all helped me choose my career and what I would become. So as an animator, this will allow me to spend all my time on computers, have a bunch of fun while I'm at it, and be able to create amazing creations. Thank you.